Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza, Pastoral Associate at St. Sabina Parish in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series question. As we conclude our series on the Christian creeds, today's Do You Know question is, do you know why the Christian creeds use symbolic language? We conclude our series by returning to the kinds of language that the creeds use in articulating the mysteries of our faith. These mysteries are the things that we give our heart over to, connected with the Latin word credo, which is linked to heart. And so the creeds are an attempt to articulate for us the mysteries of our faith, and yet we know that these mysteries can only be articulated in very limited human language. Mysteries are best understood in terms of infinitely comprehensible. And yet, even though we realize we will never be able to exhaust the meaning and the depth of these mysteries, we still have to talk about them in order to appropriate them for ourselves and to give them some meaning and application in our own faith lives. And so the creeds do that. They will never exhaust the mystery, but they give us a window into the mystery, kind of a peek hole, kind of a experience and view of the mystery itself, always realizing that it's a very limited view and understanding of it. So, mysteries, therefore, are best articulated in what we call symbolic language. Why? Because symbols point to and give us these, allow us to open these windows into the mystery, while at the same time realizing that, again, we will never be able to exhaust them. So, but the symbols provide this opportunity to delve a bit into the mysteries and have some understanding of it. The creeds do this for us by using symbolic language. However, it's always important, and this is what's really interesting about symbols, is because they're always time conditioned and culture conditioned. In other words, they were the creeds were formed at a specific time, in a specific context, an historical situation, or so on, that many centuries ago. And so it's important to kind of try to figure out, do they still speak to us today? Because symbols can lose their meaning, can no longer be effective because the conditions and the situations in which they were articulated no longer exist, or we no longer are in that kind of day and age. And so it's very important. We need to really try to understand what that original context is about. So it's very important, in order to understand the symbolic language effectively, we have to do two things. One, and foremost, is the one that is trying to understand the historical context, the demands, the situations, the meaning of those words, when they were produced, at the time they were produced, and so on. This is what this series has attempted to do, to provide historical context as well as meaning and significance of those words, what they meant then, and how we understand them today. But the more important part of that aspect, that program that needs to be done, is to try to see if those symbols continue to speak to us today. Are they still meaningful in a real and effective way for us? And do they communicate the wisdom of the mystery they're trying to articulate? And so we need to constantly reevaluate those symbols to see if they're still speaking to us effectively. Why? Well, it's important because symbols can die and no longer speak effectively. And therefore, the question would be, how do we revitalize the symbols to have them speak more effectively to our day and our age and our culture? Two examples that could be given. By the way, in light of before I give you the examples, this is all in line with the principle that Pope John XXIII established with the Second Vatican Council, called the principle of aggiornamento. Aggiornamento means can be translated as updating, but it essentially means that every generation has to look at the wisdom that they've inherited from past generations and articulate it in a way that speaks to this day and this age. Two examples that I'd like to offer is the way we have understood heaven and hell. Traditionally, hell has been associated with the fire, brimstone, pitchforks, demons torturing people, and so on. That kind of image and symbol no longer speaks to us today. But however, a symbol that is really powerful with regards to articulating hell is one in which utter aloneness, you, yourself, and you for all eternity, separated from God and separated from fellow human beings for all eternity. That is a powerful symbol that speaks of what hell is all about. And with regards to heaven, heaven's been associated always with pearly gates, harps, wings, clouds, and so on, which is all very well and good, but a much more effective and powerful way of understanding the symbol of heaven, is being united with God for all eternity in love relationship, jumping off at the love relationships that we have in our life experiences and projecting that in our love relationship with God for all eternity. So therefore, these are just two examples of how symbols can speak more effectively today than they did in the past. The symbols help us get at the wisdom of the mystery, but in a real yet very limited way. So the danger to avoid in all of this is to really not confuse the limited symbol with the totality of the mystery. Symbols are partial entries into the mystery that enable us to get a handle on it and to see it and articulate it for our day and our age. So we need to continually look at those symbols and how they continue to speak to us effectively in our day and age, and to try to communicate the mystery of the wisdom that has been then handed down to us. So I hope this series has helped, therefore, to explain just a bit more of what the mysteries of the creeds, the Christian creeds, are all about, and I hope it has given you a better understanding of what those are all about. And I hope you'll return again to more Do You Know series questions as we continue to explore our faith and our faith traditions. Thank you very much.